Hey guys, Vladimir is here, and since I'm getting a lot of requests to review games, I have quite a backlog now, therefore I'll try to do at least 2 reviews per week. And if you've sent me your game, don't worry, I still have them all recorded and I'm going to check them out eventually. And today I'm going to do a quick look and analysis of the game called Still Not Dead. It's a first-person shooter with roguelite elements that features 3D world with 2D sprites. The game description mentions the mix of Nuclear Throne and Doom, and it can be quite accurate, I think. The levels are randomly generated every time, and you get to choose blessing or curses between levels. You also accumulate money and can spend it on health, weapons during the game. The game is in early access now, so a lot of things will probably change, and this video has been made on September 1st, 2017, so if you're watching this much later, make sure to check the game patch notes to see what has changed. For starters, the game offers a good polish and good feeling with shooting. Arguably, this is the most important part for the shooters because there's lots of blood, nice particle effects, satisfying weapon sounds, decently drawn enemies and sprites. The game's aesthetics are well defined, monsters and weapons look cool, the dark atmosphere expands the style and gives an end-to-the-world vibe to this whole process. The shooter part is done really well. My biggest issue with the random generation part is that there's not much purpose to go through the game. You don't understand why you are there, and unlike the other roguelites, you just don't get to unlock anything after playthrough. Essentially, it becomes sandbox with guns. The game mentions Nuclear Throne in its description, so I think it's fair if I compare the progression gameplay with Nuclear Throne, what worked there and why it does not work now. For example, in Nuclear Throne, that worked because each level had different aesthetics, like the desert, sewers, abandoned cities, and so on. Here, they just seem very similar to one another apart from the gamma differences, at least as far as I got into the game. When it comes to the level design itself, Doom was great for his staple level design. There were non-linear, easily recognizable levels, and I'm sure if you open the Doom 2 right now, you will still recognize some of them and probably remember how you used to traverse those dungeons. And the Nuclear Throne's random generation could not create as interesting levels, but it was alright due to the maze structure on the levels themselves. Here though, the level generation algorithm seems to be quite lacking. The levels feel like large boxes on the ground, randomly filled with obstacles, instead of actual mazes with rooms. Since there are a lot of open spaces, enemies will often get to you from behind, and you won't be able to notice it in time. Having maze-like structure will improve this situation probably, but if this just seems too much, you could at least add the enemies on the minimap, and that would help minimally. Nuclear Throne offered character unlocks, which gave an additional incentive to keep playing. Here though, the runs feel quite dry. The genre advanced since the release of Nuclear Throne, and I think it's a viable option to have different starting weapons, initial loadouts, enemies unlocked as you play. In fact, this is what often gives replayability to the games with randomly generated content, like this one. And overall, as I said, the main shooting mechanics are there and they're working quite well, and I can see there's a lot of effort went into them. But the game becomes quite boring after a while due to the lack of progression and quite boring level generation. I suggest checking it out later, but in this current state, unfortunately I cannot recommend it to everyone, unless you maybe like the sandbox games. So thank you for watching. If you want to see more game reviews, check out the channel or join our Discord channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you have something that you want reviewed, just leave the comment below or tell me what you're playing right now. And on that note, Vladimir is out. Bye!